Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the USS Blackstar and watched the stars change from streaks of light back to tiny dots. The ship had just dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. He could feel the deck vibrating under his feet as the massive engines powered down from their jump sequence. "Report," Jake said to his crew. Commander Lisa Hayes looked up from her tactical station. Her face was grim. "Sir, we have 67 enemy ships in the system. They're all around the planet. It looks like they started bombing the colony about 2 hours ago." Jake felt his jaw tighten. 2 hours meant thousands of people were already dead. The human colony on Kepler 442b had been home to nearly 500,000 settlers. Men, women, and children who had traveled across the galaxy to build a new life. "How long until our fleet arrives?" Jake asked. 16 hours, sir, Lisa replied. "Admiral Parker's fleet is still fighting in the Ross system." "They can't break away yet," Jake nodded. He had expected this answer. The war with the Zephyrian Empire had been going on for 3 years now. The aliens had attacked 14 human star systems, and the Terran Federation was stretched thin trying to defend them all. The USS Blackstar was different from other human warships. At nearly 2 kilometers long, it was the largest ship humanity had ever built, but size was not what made it special. The ship was packed with experimental weapons and technology that had never been tested in real combat. "Sir," called out Chief Engineer Tony Martinez from his station, "the quantum reactors are running hot. Should I dial them back?" "No," Jake said. "Keep them at full power. We're going to need everything we have." Dr. Kate Sullivan, the ship's science officer, was studying her screens. "Captain, I'm reading massive energy signatures from the planet's surface. The Zephyrians are using plasma bombardment weapons. The cities are ... She paused and swallowed hard. "The cities are gone, sir." Jake closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his face was hard as stone. "Tony, I need you to push those reactors past their limits." "I don't care if it's dangerous." "Sir, the manual says..." "Forget the manual," Jake cut him off. "Those are our people down there. What's left of them?" Tony nodded. "Yes, sir. I'll give you everything she's got." The bridge fell silent except for the hum of computers and the soft beeping of sensors. Everyone knew what Jake was thinking. The USS Blackstar was one ship against 67 enemy vessels. In any normal battle, that would mean certain death. But the Blackstar was not normal. "Lisa, show me what we're facing," Jake ordered. The main screen lit up with a tactical display. The enemy ships were spread around the planet like a metal cloud. Most were destroyers and cruisers, but Jake could see several massive dreadnoughts among them. The Zephyrian ships were dark and angular, designed to strike fear into their enemies. "They're using a standard orbital bombardment formation," Lisa reported. "Spread out to cover maximum surface area. No tight formations that we could exploit." "That's what they think," Jake said with a cold smile. "They've never fought humans before. They don't know what we're capable of." Communications Officer Danny Wright spoke up from his station. "Captain, I'm picking up Zephyrian communications. They're coordinating their bombardment patterns. From what I can translate, they think they'll be done in another 6 hours." 6 hours. Jake felt anger building in his chest. The Zephyrians had been conquering other species for centuries. They would drop out of hyperspace, destroy everything that moved, and then claim another world for their empire. They had done it to dozens of alien races, but they had never done it to humans. Navigation Officer Beth Collins, plot me a course. "Straight into their formation," Jake ordered. Beth turned in her chair. "Sir, that will put us right in the middle of their fleet. They'll surround us." "That's the idea," Jake said. "I want them close enough to see what human weapons can do." The crew exchanged glances. They all knew the USS Blackstar was powerful, but no one had expected to test it against such overwhelming odds. The ship carried a crew of 800 people, and Jake was about to risk all their lives on weapons that had only been tested in simulations. "Sir," Lisa said quietly, "maybe we should wait for reinforcements. The colony is..." "It's probably too late to save them anyway." Jake looked at her. Lisa, how many people do you think are still alive down there? Sensors show maybe 50,000 in underground shelters, she replied. 50,000 people, Jake repeated. That's 50,000 reasons why we're not waiting. He turned to address the entire bridge crew. I know what you're all thinking. One ship against 67 seems impossible. But that's because you're thinking like the enemy. You're thinking in terms of fair fights and equal odds. Jake walked to the center of the bridge. Humans don't fight fair, we fight to win. We build bigger weapons, better armor, and faster ships. We push our technology beyond what anyone thinks is possible. And when someone threatens our people, we show them exactly why that was a mistake. The crew was listening intently now. Jake could see the doubt in their eyes being replaced by determination. The Zephyrians think they know everything about space combat, Jake continued. They've conquered dozens of species using the same tactics over and over, but they've never faced humans before. They don't know about our quantum reactors. They don't know about our antimatter weapons. They don't know about our gravitational shields. He paused and looked around the bridge. Most importantly, they don't know that humans never surrender, never retreat, never give up. Tony's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. Captain, the reactors are at 120%. That's as high as I can push them without risking a core breach. Good, Jake said. All hands, this is the captain. We are about to engage a superior enemy force. I won't lie to you, the odds are not in our favor. But I believe in this ship, and I believe in all of you. Today we show the galaxy what happens when you attack human colonies. He turned to Lisa. Charge all weapons. Target their command ship first. Aye, sir. Reaper cannon is charging. Particle beam arrays are online. Missile pods are loaded and ready. Beth, take us in. Full speed. The USS Blackstar turned toward the enemy fleet and began to accelerate. The ship's experimental gravity drive bent space around it, allowing it to move faster than should have been possible. On the enemy ships, alarms began to sound as sensors detected the approaching human vessel. They're moving to intercept, Lisa reported. 20 ships breaking off from the bombardment formation. Let them come, Jake said. Danny, open a channel. To the Zephyrian fleet. Channel open, sir. Jake's voice was calm but filled with cold fury. Zephyrian fleet, this is Captain Jake Morrison of the USS Blackstar. You have attacked a human colony and murdered innocent people. I am here to make you pay for that mistake. There was a pause, then a harsh alien voice responded. Human vessel, you are outnumbered 67-1. Surrender now, and we will make your death quick, Jake smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. I have a better idea. Why don't you surrender to me? I promise I'll make it quick. The alien voice laughed. One ship against our entire fleet? You humans are even more foolish than we thought. You're about to learn something about humans, Jake said. We don't need equal odds. We make our own odds. He cut the communication and turned to his crew. All stations, battle stations. It's time to show these aliens what the USS Blackstar can do. The ship's lights dimmed as power was redirected to weapons and shields. Throughout the vessel, 800 human crew members prepared for a battle that would determine the fate of 50,000 colonists and possibly the entire war. The USS Blackstar had entered the fight, and nothing in the Zephyrian fleet was going to survive. The USS Blackstar cut through space like a knife through water. Captain Jake Morrison watched the tactical display as his ship approached the Zephyrian fleet. 20 enemy vessels were moving to intercept them, their weapons already charging. For battle? Range to target? Jake asked. 50,000 kilometers in closing, Lisa replied from her tactical station. Enemy ships are spreading out to surround us. Perfect, Jake said. That's exactly what I want them to do. The Zephyrian ships were sleek and deadly looking, but Jake had studied their designs for months. They were fast and well-armed, but they had one major weakness. Their ships were designed to fight enemies who used the same technology they did. They had never encountered anything like human weapons. Sir, the lead enemy ship is hailing us, Danny reported. Put it on screen, Jake ordered. The The bridge's main display showed a Zephyrian commander. The alien looked like a cross between a lizard and a bird, with sharp teeth and cold yellow eyes. When it spoke, its voice was full of arrogance. "Human captain, you have made a grave error. Turn your ship around and leave this system, or we will destroy you." Jake stepped forward. "I already told you what's going to happen. You attacked our people, now you're going to pay for it." The alien commander laughed. "One ship against 20? You're either very brave or very stupid. Why don't you find out?" Jake said. He nodded to Danny, who cut the communication. "Range?" Jake asked. 30,000 kilometers, Lisa reported. "All weapons are charged and ready." "Tony, how are those reactors holding up?" Tony's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Running hot but steady, Captain. The quantum cores are producing more power than I've ever seen." Jake nodded. The USS Blackstar's reactors were unlike anything ever built. They didn't just generate power, they created it by manipulating space and time itself. The energy output was incredible, but it was also dangerous. One mistake could destroy the entire ship. "Beth, bring us in fast. I want to be in weapons range before they can coordinate their attack." "Aye, sir," Beth replied. Her hands danced over her controls, and the Blackstar surged forward. The ship's experimental gravity drive allowed it to accelerate far beyond what normal physics should allow. The Zephyrian ships opened fire first. Bright green plasma bolts streaked across space toward the human vessel, but the USS Blackstar was no ordinary target. "Shields holding," reported Lieutenant Commander Ryan Foster from the defense station. "Their weapons are barely scratching." "Our outer barriers?" Jake smiled. Human shield technology was generations ahead of anything the Zephyrians had seen. The Blackstar's shields didn't just stop energy weapons, they absorbed the power and fed it back into the ship's systems. "Lisa, target the lead ship, full power to the Reaper cannon." "Reaper cannon charging," Lisa confirmed. "Targeting the enemy?" "Flagship." The Reaper cannon was the USS Blackstar's most powerful weapon. It focused antimatter into a beam so intense it could punch through a planet. The weapon had never been fired in combat, but computer simulations showed it was devastating. "Fire!" Jake ordered. A brilliant white beam lanced out from the front of the USS Blackstar. The energy was so intense it lit up the entire bridge. The beam struck the lead Zephyrian ship dead center. The enemy vessel simply vanished. One moment. It was there, firing its weapons and maneuvering to attack. The next moment, there was nothing but empty space and a few glowing particles. The ship hadn't exploded. It had been completely converted to energy. The bridge fell silent. Even Jake was stunned by the weapon's power. The Reaper cannon had worked exactly as designed, but seeing it in action was something else entirely. "Target destroyed," Lisa reported in a quiet voice. The Zephyrian fleet stopped firing. Jake could imagine the confusion and fear spreading through their ranks. They had never seen a weapon that could make a ship simply cease to exist. "Don't stop now," Jake said. "Target the next ship." But the Zephyrians were already moving. Their ships scattered in all directions, trying to avoid the terrible white beam that had destroyed their flagship. "They're running!" someone shouted. "No, they're not," Jake said grimly. "They're trying to surround us." Lisa switched to the particle beam arrays, spread the targets. The USS Blackstar had more than just the Reaper cannon. Along its hull were dozens of smaller weapons that could fire in multiple directions at once. The ship had been designed to fight entire fleets single-handed. "Multiple targets locked," Lisa reported. "Particle beams ready. Fire all weapons." The space around the USS Blackstar lit up like a fireworks display. Bright blue beams shot out in every direction, each one targeting a different enemy ship. The Zephyrian vessels tried to dodge, but the human weapons were too fast and too accurate. 3. More enemy ships exploded in brilliant flashes of light. Their armor, which had protected them in battles against dozens of other species, was useless against human technology. "Enemy ships are breaking formation," Beth reported. "They're trying to get out of our weapons range." "Don't let them," Jake ordered. "Stay with them. Use the gravity drive." The USS Blackstar suddenly changed direction without slowing down. The ship's experimental drive could bend space around it, allowing it to move in ways that seemed impossible. The Zephyrian ships were fast, but they couldn't match the Blackstar's ability to ignore the normal laws of physics. "Sir, I'm reading." "Panic in their communications," Danny reported. "They're calling for reinforcements and asking for new orders." "What are they saying?" Jake asked. Danny listened to his translation equipment. "They're saying their weapons aren't working. They can't understand why their plasma cannons aren't damaging our shields." Jake nodded. "The Zephyrians use plasma weapons because they were effective against most alien technology. But human shields were designed to absorb energy, not just deflect it. The more the enemy fired, the stronger the Blackstar became." "Lisa, target 2 ships at once." "Use the missile pods." "Aye, sir, launching swarm missiles." Dozens of small missiles shot out from the USS Blackstar. Each one was guided by its own computer brain and carried a small antimatter warhead. The Zephyrian ships tried to shoot them down, but there were too many coming from too many angles. The missiles struck their targets within seconds of each other. 2 more enemy ships disappeared in flashes of pure energy. The remaining Zephyrian vessels were now completely scattered, their formation broken and their morale shattered. 15 ships destroyed, Lisa reported. 5 remaining. "Sir, the surviving ships are retreating toward the planet," Beth said. "They're trying to use the colony as a shield." Jake's face darkened. "They think they can hide behind innocent people?" He turned to his crew. "All weapons, focus fire on the retreating ships. Don't let a single one escape." The USS Blackstar pursued the fleeing Zephyrian vessels. The human ship was faster and more maneuverable, and its weapons had a longer range. One by one, the enemy ships were hunted down and destroyed. The last Zephyrian ship tried to ram the USS Blackstar in a desperate suicide attack. The alien vessel accelerated straight toward the human ship, its remaining weapons firing continuously. "Brace for impact," Jake ordered, but the impact never came. The Zephyrian ship struck the Blackstar's shields and simply bounced off. The human defensive systems were so powerful that a direct collision couldn't even scratch the hull. Lisa destroyed the last enemy ship with a single shot from the Reaper cannon. "All targets destroyed," she reported. "No enemy ships remaining in local space?" Jake looked at the tactical display. Where 20 Zephyrian warships had been just minutes before, there was now only empty space and debris. The USS Blackstar had destroyed an entire enemy squadron without taking any damage. "Sir," Danny said, "I'm picking up communications from the main enemy fleet. They're asking what happened to their advance force." Jake smiled. "Tell them they're about to find out." The first battle was over, but the war was just beginning. The USS Blackstar had shown the galaxy what human weapons could do. Now it was time to show them what human determination could accomplish. "All hands, prepare for the next engagement," Jake announced over the ship's intercom. "We're going after the main fleet," the crew cheered. They had just achieved the impossible, and they were ready to do it again. The USS Blackstar turned toward the planet where 47 enemy ships were still bombarding the human colony. It was time to save the survivors and show the Zephyrian Empire what happened when they attacked humanity. The USS Blackstar moved toward the planet like a hunter stalking its prey. Captain Jake Morrison watched the tactical display as his ship approached the 47 remaining Zephyrian vessels. These ships were larger than the ones they had just destroyed, heavy cruisers and battleships that formed the core of the enemy fleet. "Status report," Jake ordered. "All systems are running perfectly," Lisa replied from her station. "The Reaper cannon is charged and ready. Particle beams are online. Missile pods are fully loaded. How are our shields holding up?" Jake asked. "At full power," Ryan reported. "The enemy plasma fire actually made them stronger. We're absorbing their energy and feeding it back into our systems." Jake nodded. This was exactly what human engineers had designed the shields to do. Every shot the Zephyrians fired was making the USS Blackstar more powerful. "Sir, the enemy fleet is changing formation," Beth observed. They're moving away from the planet and grouping together. Jake studied the display. The Zephyrian ships were forming a tight defensive circle, their weapons all pointing outward. It was a classic formation designed to concentrate firepower and protect the fleet's weaker ships. They're learning, Jake said. They know their spread formation didn't work, so now they're trying to use their numbers advantage. Will it work? Lisa asked. Jake smiled coldly. They're about to find out that human weapons don't care about their formations? The USS Blackstar was now close enough to see the enemy ships clearly. The Zephyrian vessels were impressive. Some were over a kilometer long, with thick armor plating and massive weapon arrays. They looked like they could take on an entire fleet, but they had never faced anything like the USS Blackstar. "Sir, incoming transmission from the enemy fleet," Danny reported. "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. A new Zephyrian commander appeared on the display. This one was larger than the first, with more scars and decorations on his armor. His voice was deeper and more threatening. "Human vessel, I am Fleet Commander Zektar of the Zephyrian 3rd Battle Fleet. You have destroyed 20 of my ships, but that changes nothing. You are still outnumbered, and you are still going to die." Jake stepped forward. "Commander, let me save you some time. In about 10 minutes, your entire fleet is going to be destroyed. I'm giving you one chance to surrender." The alien commander's eyes flashed with rage. "Surrender? We are the Zephyrian Empire. We have conquered 100 worlds and destroyed 50 species. We do not surrender to anyone." "Then you're going to join those 50 species," Jake said calmly. "Danny, cut the transmission." The screen went dark. Jake turned to his crew. "All right, people. They want to do this the hard way. Lisa, target the center of their formation with the Reaper cannon." "Sir, there are 5 ships clustered together in the center," Lisa reported. "The cannon should be able to hit all of them." "Perfect. Fire when ready." The USS Blackstar's most powerful weapon charged up once again. The brilliant white beam lanced out across space, brighter than a star. It struck the center of the Zephyrian formation and kept going. 5 enemy ships vanished in an instant. The beam was so powerful it punched through all of them and kept traveling until it hit the planet's moon. On the lunar surface, a new crater appeared, glowing with residual energy. The remaining Zephyrian ships broke formation immediately. Their carefully planned defensive circle was now a gaping wound, and panic spread through their ranks. "They're scattering again," Beth reported. "Some are heading for the planet. Others are trying to escape the system. Don't let any of them get away," Jake ordered. "Beth, take us after the ones heading for deep space. Lisa, use the particle beams on the ships near the planet." The USS Blackstar split its attention between multiple targets. The ship's advanced computer systems could track dozens of enemy vessels at once, calculating firing solutions and predicting their movements. Blue beams of energy shot out from the Blackstar's hull, each one finding its target with deadly precision. The Zephyrian ships tried to dodge, but human weapons were too fast and too accurate. Ship after ship exploded in brilliant flashes of light. "Sir, I'm reading some kind of energy buildup from the enemy flagship," Ryan reported. "It looks like they're preparing to ram us." Jake looked at the tactical display. The largest Zephyrian ship, a massive dreadnought, was turning toward the USS Blackstar. Its engines were glowing brighter as it accelerated. "They're desperate," Jake said. "They think if they can't beat us with weapons, they'll try to destroy us by crashing into us. Will that work?" Someone asked. Jake shook his head. "Our shields can stop anything they can throw at us. Beth, let them come. I want to show them what happens when you try to ram a human warship." The Zephyrian dreadnought was enormous, nearly 2 kilometers long and armed with hundreds of weapons. It was designed to be the ultimate warship, capable of destroying entire fleets. But as it charged toward the USS Blackstar, it looked like a child's toy compared to the human vessel. "Impact in 30 seconds, Beth reported. "All hands, brace for collision," Jake announced over the intercom. "This is going to be interesting." The crew gripped their stations as the enemy ship approached. The Zephyrian dreadnought was firing all its weapons, trying to weaken the Blackstar's shields before impact. Plasma bolts and energy beams struck the human ship's barriers, but they might as well have been throwing rocks at a mountain. 10 seconds to impact, Beth called out. 5 seconds. Contact. The Zephyrian dreadnought struck the USS Blackstar's shields at full speed. The impact was tremendous. Bright flashes of energy lit up space as the two ships collided. But when the light faded, the USS Blackstar was still there, completely undamaged. The enemy dreadnought was not so lucky. The massive ship had crumpled, like paper when it hit the human shields. Its hull was twisted and broken, its weapons silent, its crew dead. Enemy flagship destroyed, Lisa reported. No damage to our systems. The remaining Zephyrian ships had seen enough. Those that could still move were fleeing in all directions, their commanders too terrified to continue the fight. Sir, the surviving ships are trying to escape, Danny reported. They're broadcasting surrender signals, Jake considered for a moment. How many are left? 12 ships, Lisa answered. Most are damaged and barely able to move. Any of them still firing on the planet? No, sir, they've all stopped their bombardment. Jake nodded. Open a channel to the surviving ships. Channel open, Danny confirmed. Attention Zephyrian vessels, Jake said. This is Captain Morrison of the USS Blackstar. You have two choices. You can surrender now and be taken as prisoners of war, or you can continue fighting and be destroyed. You have 60 seconds to decide. The response came quickly. Human Captain, this is Sub-Commander Veltar. We surrender. Please do not destroy us. Jake looked around the bridge. His crew was waiting for his decision. Danny, relay the surrender to Colonial Command. Tell them we need prisoner transport. Ships. Aye, sir, Danny replied. Lisa, keep all weapons trained on the surrender ships. If any of them so much as charges a weapon, destroy them immediately. Understood, sir. Jake walked to the main viewing screen and looked out at the planet. Below, the bombardment had stopped, but the damage was terrible. Entire cities were nothing but craters, and the atmosphere was filled with smoke and dust. Sir, I'm reading life signs from the underground shelters, Kate reported. Looks like about 45,000 people are still alive. Jake felt a wave of relief. They had saved nearly 50,000 people, but the cost had been enormous. This beautiful world had been turned into a wasteland by alien weapons. Danny, open a channel to the planet. Channel open, sir. This is Captain Morrison of the USS Blackstar to all colonial survivors. The enemy fleet has been destroyed or captured. You are safe. Rescue ships are on their way. The response came immediately. Dozens of voices talking at once, crying, laughing, and thanking them. Jake listened for a moment, then had Danny close the channel. Sir, what are your orders? Lisa asked. Jake looked at the tactical display. The system was clear of enemy ships, but this was just one battle in a much larger war. Somewhere out there, more Zephyrian fleets were attacking other human colonies. Set course for the Tau Ceti system, Jake ordered. Intelligence reports say there's a major enemy base there. If we're going to win this war, we need to take the fight to them. The USS Blackstar had won its first major battle, but Jake knew this was just the beginning. The ship had proven that human technology was superior to anything the Zephyrians had. Now it was time to show them that human determination was even more dangerous than human weapons. All hands, prepare for a hyperspace jump, Jake announced. We're going hunting. The USS Blackstar dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Tau Ceti system. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, studying the tactical display that showed what they were facing. This was not just another fleet. This was the heart of Zephyrian military power in this sector. Report, Jake ordered. Sir, I'm reading over 100 enemy ships, Lisa said from her tactical station. They have orbital defense platforms around 3 different planets. Multiple space stations? This looks like their main military headquarters. Jake nodded grimly. Intelligence reports had been right. The Tau Ceti system was where the Zephyrians coordinated their attacks on human space. If they could destroy this base, it would cripple enemy operations for months. Any word from our fleet? Jake asked. Admiral Parker's ships are still fighting in the Ross system, Danny reported. They can't break away for at least 12 hours. Then we do this alone, Jake said. Again. The crew had grown used to facing impossible odds. 2 days ago, the idea of one ship attacking an entire star system would have seemed insane. Now it felt routine. Sir, the enemy has detected us, Ryan reported. They're launching fighters and moving their ships into defensive positions. Jake watched the display as hundreds of small Zephyrian fighters swarmed out from the space stations. Behind them, massive capital ships were forming battle lines. The aliens were taking no chances this time. How many ships total? Jake asked. 137, Lisa replied, plus 6 orbital defense platforms and about 400 fighters. The bridge fell quiet. This was by far the largest enemy force they had faced. Even the USS Blackstar had limits, and they might have found them. Sir, Kate said from her science station, I'm detecting some kind of energy readings from the defense platforms. They're much stronger than normal Zephyrian weapons. Jake frowned. Stronger how? The power output is incredible. Kate replied. These aren't standard plasma cannons. They look like some kind of super weapon. Probably they're planet killers, Jake said. Intelligence warned us they might have them here. Planet killers were the Zephyrians' ultimate weapon, massive energy. Cannons that could crack the crust of a world and kill everything on its surface. The aliens had used them to destroy the homeworlds of 3 different species during their expansion. Sir, incoming transmission, Danny reported. Put it on screen. New Zephyrian commander appeared on the display. This one was different from the others, larger, with more elaborate armor and scars covering his face. His voice was calm but deadly. I am Supreme Commander Vikthin, leader of the 3rd Expansion Fleet. You are the human ship that has been destroying our forces. I have studied your tactics and I have prepared accordingly. Jake stepped forward. Commander, I'm Captain Morrison. I'm here to shut down your operation in this system. You can surrender now, or I can do it the hard way. The alien commander laughed. Surrender? You face the combined might of 6 battle fleets and our most powerful weapons. Your previous victories were against scattered forces. Here, you face our full strength. We'll see about that, Jake said. Danny, cut the transmission. The screen went dark. Jake turned to his crew. All right, people. This is the big one. They think their numbers and super weapons will save them. Let's prove them wrong. Sir, the enemy fleet is moving, Beth reported. They're trying to surround us. Let them try, Jake said. Tony, I need maximum power to all systems. Push those reactors as hard as they'll go. Already on it, Captain, Tony's voice came over the intercom. Quantum cores are at 130%. That's beyond red line, but they're holding steady. Lisa, target the nearest defense platform with the Reaper cannon. Let's see how tough their super weapons really are. Targeting the platform at bearing 270, Lisa confirmed. Reaper cannon charging. The USS Blackstar's most powerful weapon began to build up energy. But before it could fire, the Zephyrian defense platform struck first. A massive purple beam lanced out across space, a planet-killer weapon firing at full power. Incoming! Ryan shouted. The alien superweapon hit the USS Blackstar's shields. The impact was tremendous, far stronger than anything they had faced before. The ship shook violently, and alarms began sounding throughout the bridge. Shield status, Jake called out. Down to 80%, Ryan reported, but holding steady. The planet killer damaged us, but it didn't break through, Jake smiled. The Zephyrian's ultimate weapon had barely scratched human defenses. Their turn. Lisa, fire! The Reaper cannon's white beam shot across space and struck the defense platform. The massive structure, which had taken the aliens years to build, simply vanished. One moment it was there, threatening to destroy planets. The next moment, it was nothing but glowing particles. Target destroyed, Lisa reported. Sir, the enemy fleet is charging. Beth warned over 100 Zephyrian ships were accelerating toward the USS Blackstar. They came from all directions, trying to overwhelm the human vessel with sheer numbers. Their plan was simple: get so close that the Blackstar couldn't use its most powerful weapons without destroying itself. They think close range will help them, Jake said. Show them why that's a mistake. Lisa switched to rapid fire mode. Use all weapons. The USS Blackstar became a storm of destruction. The Reaper cannon fired continuously, each shot destroying an entire enemy ship. Particle beams lanced out in all directions, cutting through alien hulls like they were made of paper. Missile pods launched waves of antimatter warheads that turned space into a fireworks display. The Zephyrian fighters reached the human ship first. 400 small craft swarmed around the USS Blackstar, firing their weapons at point-blank range. But the ship's automated defense systems activated, shooting down fighters by the dozen with precision laser bursts. Sir, enemy fighters are having no effect, Ryan reported. Our point defense systems are destroying them faster than they can attack. The capital ships arrived next. Massive Zephyrian dreadnoughts and battleships opened fire with everything they had. Plasma bolts, energy beams, and particle cannons all struck the USS Blackstar simultaneously, but human shields were designed for exactly this kind of assault. The more energy the aliens poured into them, the stronger they became. The USS Blackstar was actually gaining power from the enemy attack. Shields at 120%, Ryan announced. We're absorbing their fire and converting it to energy. Use that energy, Jake ordered. Lisa, target the enemy flagship. The largest Zephyrian ship was a massive super dreadnought over 3 kilometers long. It was the command ship for the entire fleet, directing the battle from the center of the formation. Targeting enemy flagship, Lisa confirmed. Reaper cannon locked on. Fire. The white beams struck the super dreadnought dead center. The massive ship's armor, which could resist normal weapons for hours, lasted less than a second against the Reaper cannon. The flagship simply ceased to exist. With their command ship gone, the Zephyrian fleet began to fall apart. Ships collided with each other as they lost coordination. Some tried to retreat, while others continued their attack without any plan. Sir, I'm reading panic in their communications, Danny reported. They're asking for orders, but there's no one left to give them. Press the advantage, Jake said. Target the remaining defense platforms. The USS Blackstar turned its attention to the orbital weapons. One by one, the massive structures disappeared under the assault of human weapons. Each platform that died took with it the power to destroy entire worlds. Sir, about half the enemy fleet is trying to retreat, Beth reported. Should we pursue? Jake considered for a moment. No, let some of them escape. I want them to spread the word about what happened here. Sir, why? Lisa asked. Because fear is a weapon too, Jake explained. When other Zephyrian fleets hear about this battle, they'll know that nowhere is safe from human retaliation. The battle continued for another hour. The USS Blackstar methodically destroyed every enemy ship that continued to fight. Those that tried to surrender were allowed to live, but their ships were disabled to prevent them from rejoining the war. When the fighting finally stopped, the Tau Ceti system belonged to humanity. The Zephyrian military base was gone, along with most of their fleet. Space was filled with debris from over 90 destroyed enemy ships. Damage report, Jake ordered. Minimal damage to outer hull plating, Ryan replied. All major systems operating normally. Shields back to full power. Jake looked at the tactical display. The USS Blackstar had faced the largest enemy force in the war and had completely destroyed it. But more importantly, they had eliminated the Zephyrians' ability to coordinate attacks on human colonies. Sir, incoming transmission from Zephyrian High Command, Danny reported. Put it on screen. A new alien appeared on the display. This one wore even more elaborate armor and had the bearing of someone used to absolute authority. I am High Admiral Zexkar, Supreme Commander of all Zephyrian forces. What are your terms for ending this conflict? Jake was surprised. The aliens were asking for peace terms after just 2 battles. You're surrendering? We are negotiating, the High Admiral replied carefully. Your ship has proven to be more capable than we anticipated. Perhaps we can reach an understanding, Jake thought for a moment. Here are my terms. All Zephyrian forces withdraw from human space immediately. 48 hours had passed since Captain Jake Morrison delivered his ultimatum to the Zephyrian Empire. The USS Blackstar hung in space near Earth, waiting for the alien response. Jake stood on the bridge, watching the communications board for any incoming messages. "Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Zephyrian High Command," Danny reported. "Put it on screen," Jake ordered. High Admiral Zexkar appeared on the display. The alien leader looked tired and defeated, but his voice still carried defiance. "Captain Morrison, we have considered your terms. The Zephyrian Empire rejects your demands. We will not bow to humans or any other species. We choose to fight." Jake nodded slowly. He had expected this answer. "Then you choose extinction. Where do you want to make your last stand?" "The Vega system," the High Admiral replied. "Our entire remaining fleet will gather there. Over 300 ships, including our most powerful dreadnoughts. This will be the final battle." 300 ships, Jake repeated. "You're bringing everything you have left." "Everything," the alien confirmed. "One way or another, this war ends at Vega." Jake looked around his bridge. His crew had become legends during the past week. They had faced impossible odds and won every time. But 300 ships was more than they had ever fought before. "We'll be there," Jake said. "Prepare your ships, Admiral. In 6 hours, the USS Blackstar will arrive at Vega." The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. "You heard him. This is it, the final battle. Any questions?" "Sir, shouldn't we wait for our fleet?" Lisa asked. "Admiral Parker's ships could be here in 12 hours. Jake shook his head. "The Zephyrians are gathering their forces now. If we wait, they might change their minds and scatter across the galaxy. We need to end this while we have them all in one place. Besides," he added with a smile, "we've beaten their fleets before. What's a few more ships?" The crew laughed nervously. They had confidence in their captain and their ship, but 300 enemy vessels was a daunting number. "Tony, how are our reactors holding up?" Jake asked. "Running perfectly, Captain," Tony replied over the intercom. "All that combat has actually helped me fine-tune the systems. The quantum cores are more efficient now than when we started." "Good, we're going to need every bit of power we can get." Jake walked to the center of the bridge. "All hands, this is the captain. In 6 hours, we will face the entire remaining Zephyrian fleet. They have 300 ships, we have 1. Those might seem like bad odds to some people, but not to us." He paused, looking at each member of his crew. "We've proven that human technology is superior to anything the aliens have. We've shown them that human courage cannot be defeated. Today, we finish what they started when they attacked our colonies. The Zephyrians think that numbers will save them. They're wrong. We don't need equal odds. We make our own odds. When the USS Blackstar enters the war, nothing survives. Today we prove that once and for all." The crew cheered. They were ready for the final battle. 6 hours later, the USS Blackstar dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Vega system. What Jake saw on the tactical display was the largest enemy fleet ever assembled. 300 Zephyrian ships hung in space around the star, arranged in a massive sphere formation. "Report," Jake ordered. 307 enemy ships confirmed, Lisa said. Multiple dreadnoughts, supercarriers, and what looks like their command vessel at the center. "Any defense platforms?" Jake asked. "No, sir, just ships. But some of them are enormous, bigger than anything we've seen before." Jake studied the formation. The Zephyrians had learned from their previous defeats. Instead of spreading out or clustering together, they had arranged their ships in a perfect sphere. No matter which direction the USS Blackstar attacked from, it would face the same number of enemies. "Clever," Jake admitted. "They're trying to neutralize our mobility advantage." "Sir." "Incoming transmission," Danny reported. "Put it on screen." High Admiral Zexkar appeared once again. Behind him, Jake could see the bridge of the massive Zephyrian flagship, a ship so large it dwarfed even the USS Blackstar. "Captain Morrison, welcome to Vega. As you can see, we have prepared a proper reception for you." Jake looked at the display, showing the enemy fleet. Impressive. 300 ships just for us. We should feel honored. You should feel terrified, the High Admiral replied. Today, your reign of destruction ends. Today, the Zephyrian Empire shows the galaxy that no single ship, no matter how powerful, can stand against our combined might. We'll see about that, Jake said. Any last words before we begin? The alien leader's eyes blazed with hatred. Yes. When we destroy you, we will return to your homeworld and finish what we started. Every human colony will burn. Your entire species will be extinct within a year. Jake's expression turned cold. That was the wrong thing to say. He nodded to Danny, who cut the transmission. Jake turned to his crew with deadly calm. Change of plans. We're not just defeating this fleet. We're making sure the Zephyrian Empire never threatens anyone again. Sir? Lisa asked. Total destruction. Jake said simply. No survivors. No prisoners. No mercy. They just threatened to exterminate humanity. That was their final mistake. The USS Blackstar began moving toward the enemy fleet. As it did, the Zephyrian ships opened fire. 300 vessels unleashed everything they had. Plasma, cannons, particle beams, energy torpedoes, and weapons Jake had never seen before. The barrage was incredible. The space around the USS Blackstar lit up like a second sun as thousands of weapons fired simultaneously. The human ship was completely hidden in a cloud of energy and explosions. Shield status, Jake called out. Shields at maximum, Ryan reported. We're absorbing incredible amounts of energy, but the barriers are holding. Use that energy, Jake ordered. Lisa, fire the Reaper cannon. Target the center of their formation. The USS Blackstar's ultimate weapon charged up, drawing power from the enemy bombardment. When it fired, the white beam was brighter than ever before. It punched through the center of the Zephyrian sphere, destroying 7 ships in a single shot. 7 targets destroyed, Lisa reported. 300 ships remaining. Keep firing, Jake said. All weapons, continuous barrage. The USS Blackstar became a storm of destruction unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Reaper cannon fired every few seconds, each shot destroying multiple enemy ships. Particle beams lanced out in all directions, cutting through alien hulls like they were made of tissue paper. Missile pods launched thousands of antimatter warheads that turned space into a sea of explosions. The Zephyrian fleet tried to close the distance, believing that close combat would give them an advantage. But the USS Blackstar's point defense systems activated, destroying any ship that came too close with precise laser bursts. Sir, they're trying a new tactic, Beth reported. Some ships are ramming us while others provide cover fire. Jake watched as a Zephyrian dreadnought accelerated directly toward them, its engines glowing white-hot. Behind it, dozens of other ships provided covering fire. Let them come, Jake said. Ryan, reinforce the forward shields. The enemy dreadnought struck the USS Blackstar at incredible speed. The impact sent shockwaves through both ships, but when the energy faded, the Blackstar was undamaged. The Zephyrian ship had crumpled against the human shields like a bug hitting a windshield. Enemy ship destroyed, Ryan reported. No damage to our systems. The battle continued for 3 hours. One by one, the Zephyrian ships were hunted down and destroyed. Their sphere formation collapsed as gaps appeared where vessels had been obliterated. Panic spread through their ranks as they realized that even their combined firepower couldn't penetrate human defenses. 50 ships remaining, Lisa called out. 20 ships remaining. 10 ships remaining. Finally, only 1 ship was left. The massive flagship carrying High Admiral Zexkar. The alien vessel hung alone in space, its weapons silent, its crew probably paralyzed with fear. Sir, the flagship is hailing us, Danny reported. Put it on screen? High Admiral Zexkar appeared one last time. His elaborate armor was cracked and his face was bleeding. Behind him, his bridge was in ruins. Captain Morrison, the alien said quietly. I surrender. The Zephyrian Empire surrenders unconditionally. Jake looked at the alien commander for a long moment. I told you what would happen if you threatened humanity. No survivors, no prisoners. No mercy. Please, the High Admiral begged. My crew, they're just following orders. So were the people you murdered on our colonies, Jake replied coldly. Lisa, destroy the flagship. The Reaper cannon fired one final time. The massive Zephyrian ship, the last remnant of their once mighty empire, vanished in a flash of pure energy. The war was over. Sir, all enemy ships destroyed, Lisa reported. No survivors detected. Jake looked at the tactical display, which now showed empty space where the enemy fleet had been. 307 Zephyrian ships had entered this system. None would leave. All hands, this is the captain, Jake announced over the ship's intercom. The war is over. The Zephyrian Empire has been completely destroyed. Humanity is safe. The cheers that echoed through the USS Blackstar could probably be heard across the galaxy. The crew had achieved the impossible. One ship had defeated an entire interstellar empire. Set course for Earth, Jake ordered. It's time to go home. As the USS Blackstar prepared for its final jump,